Right, let's try that again, shall we?
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift destruction imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Security call breached.
Ugh.
Hostile alien life form inbound.
That was great, and then I fucked up that last little bit.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
Alright, not bad. Not bad at all. That's definitely a time save, I know that much. Unless I just don't land up in the beam somehow, which has happened before.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper machine.
Why is this window so
Destructive by
dirty?
Introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
So practice hops now. Yay.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind. This is not a branching point, unfortunately. The only option is to step in. Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards. So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope. It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
This is good. That was really good.
And that's it.
Nice.
Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting. Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Alright, that could have been slightly better, but whatever. This would probably be a time loss.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games. Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. it can be a very slow climb to get there.
Yeah. As expected, a bit of a time loss. Oh well. Ah. Damn. Alright, that was, aside from one step up, that wasn't terrible, but it will still probably be a time loss. Oh no, it's a fucking gold! Holy shit. Ah.
Aha.
That was
so,
bad.
this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Ugh. Right. If I don't fucking save time here, I don't know what to fucking... I don't know what I'll end up doing. Because, like, this should be really easy to save time, but I just can't seem to do it.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Thank you, David Reedon.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
That was close.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly. Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond. and so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Alright, that wasn't too bad.
It's a lamppost.
I don't know that's
a
a time
for some
table,
reason,
actually.
Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the
There
end
might
of
even be a
every
time
single one of his
loss.
games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Actually, I don't know that's a time save. I really, please, just save some fucking time, please. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, it was. Alright, that's nice then. 6 seconds saved. Alright, cool. Now I have to fucking save time here. Well, I don't have to actually. I could just like not, but I'd like to.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda games so much.
Definite time loss, but just how much is it going to be though?
I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
3 seconds lost. Alright. Whatever. Right, can I please fucking save time on prison? Please.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kinda just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Ah! Oh my fucking god, just get around there. Why is it that I just keep struggling on prison? I've never fucking struggled this hard on prison since I started running.
See, like
27, fucking 2 seconds
there's
slower.
Nothing that's particularly interesting.
Fuck.
You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit.
That's 2 seconds slower than my goal.
Use the same assets.
No, 3 seconds actually.
Okay, cool. Here's
But 2 seconds slower from my PB. But 3 seconds slower than my goal. So I've now got to save a fuck ton of time in the other 2 sections. Which is already hard enough, because like those sections are so optimized. And like on the last bit, when you jump to the phone box, I don't know why, but I just don't seem to be able to go as fast as I used to be able to. It's always slower. I'm always just like never getting enough momentum. And also keep bumping into the fucking houses as well. Ugh.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Your witness for witness sake, David Reason.
So okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Right. Alright, that was good. Come on, get some momentum. Alright, that was good.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
I think it's made up for the second I lost, like the 2 seconds I lost.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just run you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Right. Here we go. There we go, that's slightly better. Pretty good. Alright, well, I think that 2 second slowdown is gonna ruin this whole section. I'll be slow by like 2 seconds still.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself. I can see why he
Damn, there's
considers
like a
this
3
fitting
second time
conclusion
loss.
to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay.
4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Nearly 6 seconds. Alright, we're back in the red. Ugh.
So what would it look
Still,
like
I can
if
save
Coda
time on
wanted to
Diner
make a
Dash
game
Clone.
about talking to someone other than
AKA,
himself?
sure. What was it? No, it's called House.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the 2 doors on either side and a dark transitional space between them.
Right. That was pretty good. That was a pretty good entrance. Way better than my last one. Entrance into the house. Alright.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Ah.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful. I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face. I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Alright, here we go, come on.
But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive. Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Wait, we only saved 2 seconds there, really? That's stupid. Whatever.
This
At least I'm back in the
gets a
green.
bit goofy.
Also, I don't know why I said back in the red earlier. I haven't been in the red once this one except for after prison. Hopefully I can stay in the green. Although, saying that, tower was... my tower on both my PB and my gold were exceptionally good. So I'm going to have to hope and pray that I can at least match them. At least match my PB. You know, you just don't have to do anything for this whole section. Well, other than tap the number pad, the number keys a few thousand times, but like, that's like fucking nothing compared to the rest of this run. Also, I'm really surprised just how bad House was for the world record run. Like, even on a bad run, I'm doing terribly on it, I can still save 3 seconds from the world record, which is really surprising. Also, I tied.
About halfway through the game,
actually, that's not
unexpected
surprising.
shifts.
Actually, tying, exiting.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
I really thought that was the point of it.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly
1,
complex.
2, 3, 4.
So I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Yay, frame perfect. Nice. Alright. Hello. Ugh. I hate that I'm nearly at the end of the run. Like, I've got like just 20 minutes of it left, and my current pace is still my fucking personal best. It still ties it. It's really annoying. I was hoping to like save. I just want a sub 49. That's all I asked for. I keep golding on epilogue. Like I think every single run, with like the exception of like one, I've golded on epilogue. So I hope I can gold again, because holy shit, I need it. Oh, hold on. Ooh, made it back in time.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do?
Damn, this is a big
After
time
this,
loss.
Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Oh, maybe it's not. That's surprising. Oh, fucking move! Come on, you idiot. Don't fucking get stuck in the wall. You asshole. You fucking cunt. That's gonna like lose me like a second now. Or some shit like that. I can't afford to lose time at this
I was
point.
getting concerned.
Because everything
First
from
off,
Dreamlands
he's
onwards
never
is
been
pretty
this
fucking
explicit in his work
optimized.
about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work is potentially still being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Yeah, big time loss. Well, not big. Big for the level. Because the level's basically the same length each time, basically. Oh no! Come on.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore.
That was bad.
Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on. You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash. Seeing this game at the time that he made it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about, and I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Barely made that at the end.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Ooh. Yikes. That's a fucking yikes right there. Oh well. Right. I can definitely save time here, because I don't know how I lost, like, fucking 2 seconds on this last time. On my last PB. Which is still only like a millisecond quicker than my submitted run. Anyway, whatever. Damn it, no skip. Oh well.
And of course, it's the machine.
Shit. It's my nose. I did my nose, my hand was away from the keyboard for a bit. Alright, I'll speak to them for you. Alright. If I can at least save time here, then I'm probably guaranteed a new PB. Whether or not it's a sub 49 is up for debate.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral?
Unlikely.
Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work? So I started showing Coda's work. To people. And Coda's work to people. I took this one. I took this one. I took this one. And this one. And the islands which you just played. The islands which you just played. The theater. The notes. The house cleaning game. And some of the prison game. And some of the prison escape game. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of. Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good.
Wasn't
When,
framed
when
perfect.
someone
that
really
wasn't.
connects with a thing
So
that
I'll
I've
probably
made,
lose time
they
here as
see
well.
themselves purely in
God
my work,
fucking damn it.
there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Alright, this will probably be like a 1 second save.
So anyway,
or something.
Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Okay, 3 seconds. Alright, okay. I can save over 4 seconds in Tower. Alright, let's do this.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, The Tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Right, not terrible. Could be a lot better, but this is good.
This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
Okay.
But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
God, I've got an itchy nose again, but I can't stop right now. I've got a tower to do quickly.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable.
Oh no!
Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Alright. This has been okay.
The switch to open
Not
this door
amazing,
is actually on the other side
but I
of
might
the door,
save like
meaning
a
that it's
second
literally
perhaps if I can
impossible
do
to
that.
solve from this
That's
side.
like I'm pretty much
So
guaranteed in
even if you
PvP.
somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time. And as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew. It wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up? I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Come on.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work.
446. Let's see how much time I
felt
save
good
or
about
lose.
myself.
I hope.
Finally,
I
for a
hope
moment,
that I
while
fucking
I
save
had
some
that,
time,
I
even if it's just a
liked
second.
myself.
Because if I can do that, I'm guaranteed a new PB.
And then
Pretty
you
much.
stopped, and I
Pretty
didn't have
much.
anything left to show people.
Please,
I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean? I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself. That's
5,
why
2,
I'm
4?
releasing
Alright,
this
let's see
collection
this.
of
Let's see
your
if this is a
work.
second save or not.
Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Yes, 2 seconds saved. Alright, here we go. We're on the pace for a 49-minute run. Let's see if I can make it a sub 49 with this fucking epilogue. Let's go. Let's fucking go, dude. Good, good.
More love, more praise, more
Oh,
people
fucking
telling me
don't.
I'm good.
Don't do that.
Always more. It's like a disease. Solution.
Come on.
Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed
Fuck
making
you.
games,
Fuck you so
maybe
much.
I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate.
I'm on the pace for a 49-minute run. Don't you fucking cock it
Wouldn't
up for
have told
me.
So many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
This was 127 last time, I believe, so...
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we're already on a good pace, despite those bumps that caused me to probably lose like 2 seconds total.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Oh my god. Why does that keep happening? That's like the 3rd time in a row that's happened. Fucking wood being in the way there. Alright, get on there. Oh, this looks good. This looks good. Please let this be the sub 49 run. I don't want a 49-minute run. I won't be happy with that. I don't care if I don't even get 6th place. I just want a fucking sub 49 run. This looks like it could be it, you know. Come on, man. Don't fuck around. Alright. No, don't fucking bump. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Sub 49. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Yes! Yes! Sub 49 at last. Yes! Oh, fuck. 9 seconds. Well, 3 seconds, really. 3 seconds saved from the gold. Holy shit, man. Oh, fuck. Oh, man. How? How was that the sub 49? Oh, finally. Oh, it's over. Sub 49 is finally here. I don't move up in the ranks, I don't think. I think the person in front of me is like 48, 56, I think. We'll soon see. But oh man, finally got the sub 49 run I've been wanting for ages. Yes. Yes.